Hey y'all, we are back with Project Slik Dogg. Check this thing out. We got all these new parts, some clean custom wheels, some fat grippy tires. Got the back end drop 5 inches. Let's get on the front. All those parts were purchased, wheels and tires included, for under $3 grand. How awesome is that? You can't buy a brake kit for $3 grand. Let's go ahead and throw some 06 GMT 800 style brakes on the front of this 83. Make this thing stop. Yeah, they're kind of small compared to the new ones. 1983 is small compared to 2006. It's a lighter truck, and it didn't need as much stopping power as I guess, because it had a 305, I think like 180 horse 305. Well, that's got a 400 horse 5.3. Huge difference. And these are 11 inch. We're going back with a 13 inch. So this is an 11 inch diameter rotor. We're upgrading to a 13 inch. This will also be a much larger caliper, probably about this big, with 2 pistons instead of just this 1 piston caliper. The springs look more heavy duty, and all this stamped steel stuff kind of flexes. So the tubular is going to stiffen everything up and make it feel more like race car. So let's go ahead and by taking off the sway bar off the front first, and then start removing all this old stuff and putting all the new stuff on. It'll look way, way better the more we do. So I'm going to start by getting the end link. Well, there is no end link. There's just an end bushing. I'm going to get the end bushing off this lower control arm. Tell you what, from 1983, stuff's been coming off pretty easy. The lower control arm comes up and upper control arm comes down. Well, on the spindles for the 99 to 06, they both go down. So on the new drop lower, I'm going to have to press out the ball joint, flip it so they both go down. Then I can retrofit the 99 to 06 spindle on the front of this 83. So I could have done this 2 ways. I could have got the disc with the 6 lug instead of the 5 lug and been done with it. But why? When I could convert all this over to make it way more complicated, but put bigger stopping power on the top. Is it still good? No. Put the hardware back so I know where it goes. It's time to bust off the ball joints. And I can go ahead and take the upper control arm off, but these bolts up here and these like U-bolt things down here. Take the lowers off. But let's take the spring out, get all the pressure off of it, and finish tearing down the front of this truck. All right, so I am not about to start playing with springs under pressure while the truck's up in the air. Go ahead and drop it down a couple of notches so I can get the jack underneath it. Taking it down to jack height. Yeah, sitting it on the lugs. Now I can put my jack underneath it and not worry about having everything blow apart on me from the pressure of the spring. And it's not up in the air to fall off the damn lift. So that makes everything better. Damn, I thought this thing was recording. I had busted off took the cotter pins out, loosened the nuts, and grabbed old Tink, and I was just tapping the ball joints, and it kind of sprung open on me. It's kind of what I was showing while you put the jack underneath it. So then you can kind of load it. And when you go to pull the ball joints off, the 7/8. They're under a lot of pressure. This is also why I put the truck down on the ground. Because that spring, it wants to fly out of there, and there's no shock in the middle of it keeping it in. And I really don't have the whole truck's weight on it because the truck's on the lift. It wants to kind of teeter. There it is. That's why you preload it. You can let it down. That's the safest way I found to do it. You take the bottom one off by your hand. There's the whole original assembly. So now we can bust the bolts off and remove the upper and the lower control arm. The spring is pretty much wanting to fall out. Drop spring's gonna be way nicer to put in than this one. There we go. Yeah, that drop spring's probably got 2 coils cut off the bottom, but it's thicker, so making progress. So in here, there's 2 3/4 bolts that hold the top on. Get a wrench in there because it blocks it. You just gotta force it up, and it gives you access. And you let Deborah do all the work. Hot like lava. All right, upper control arm. So I brought y'all back over to this side because the light's just better. But as you undo these 2 U-bolts here and here, you pull the nuts off. This isn't like newer trucks where this is a bracket welded to the frame. This is all up in the steering. It's kind of hard to get to. But it's just as solid as anything else. I mean, it's got a little bracket. It's like a really, really sturdy exhaust clamp. So, sure, if you just give it a couple of tugs, there it is. I am done for the day. There it is. There's the front end all torn down. Project Slik Dogg is getting a new upgraded brakes and front suspension. The back, we're waiting on a drive shaft. I haven't set the pinion angle yet because I'm waiting for the drive shaft. It's easy to eyeball, but I'd rather measure it and check angles on the shaft at ride height. I haven't welded the purchase in yet. I know it's kind of redundant about that on the last video. I'm welding the purchase. Well, the drive shaft was 1 inch too short once we measured for it. And my drive shaft was just a hair too long, actually, even though it had been cut down. So we had to get an extra inch taken out of his to 54.5 inches. It was 55.5, but that's going to be right. And we just want the truck to just be right, put together correctly, one and done. That's why we're taking our time with it. That was the tear down of the front suspension on Project Slik Dogg. Now I'm going to take all this stuff back here, turn it all back on and sit it on the ground on these and those. We're doing our best to make this thing a rolling, working Hot Wheels, slot car, stomper, muscle machine, RC car, whatever you want to make it, whatever you want to call it. It's going to be cool when we're done with it. It's going to be unique and one and known. And this is definitely Vic's creation. We kind of collaborated on this and we just wanted to make something cool that you really don't see. That's why we didn't go with street tires. And that's why we're not slamming it on the ground on 22s or staggered wheels. We're going with staggered width wheels, but not staggered sized wheels. Thank you all for watching Modified. I try to put up a long video every Friday about 3 p.m. If you're new and you like the content, go to my channel, like and subscribe, do the stuff, and look up playlist Project Slik Dogg and get caught up on it. Thank y'all for watching once again. Appreciate y'all. Catch you next week. Later.